Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King. Today I'm back with a couple more blasts from the past, some videos I recorded back in August, and these are more store visit videos. Now I've got two stores I'm visiting in this video, and the reason that I've lumped them together is because both of these stores, for different reasons, were ones that I was not able to film inside. So I don't have as much footage. I know everybody, including myself, loves to have the footage where we go through the store and I can show you exactly what the store is like on the inside. Unfortunately, I don't have that for either of these locations. So what I do have is some video outside the store so you can see what the outside looks like. So if you're in the area, you'll know what to look for to find the store. And then I also have the hauls that I got from those stores when I show off the different books that I got, and I talk a little bit about my experience at the store. So I've got two stores. We're going to do the first one, and I'll put it up on the map right here. Ba-doing! As you can see, this is in Clinton, Massachusetts, which is north of Worcester, and is a place near and dear to my heart. I lived in Clinton for 25 years. And so we'll be going to Clinton first, and then once we're done with that, I'll be back here to bring you even more excitement with the next stop. Here we are, next comic book store. It's One Stop Shop, Clinton, Massachusetts, right off of Route 70, right before you cross into Lancaster if you're going north. I lived in Clinton for about 25 years. It's kind of ironic. There was a comic store when I first moved to Clinton, and it closed just a couple months after we moved there, and then just like a year before I moved away, this place opened. And originally they didn't have that many comics. They do a lot of video game stuff, but over the last 4 or 5 years they've really built up their comic stuff a lot. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to see what I can find, and hopefully I can find some cool stuff to buy. I want to support all the local comic shops that I can during the pandemic. So we're going to go in, and hopefully there's something I can drop some money on. Okay, I'm back from my trip to the comic store, and I didn't end up videotaping this time inside the store. They've just done a move, and things were still a little bit chaotic in there. They didn't have everything set up just yet. But I did want to show what I bought. It's not a lot, but it's just a couple cool things that I picked up. To describe the store, they have a lot of moderns. So if you're into moderns, they have a whole big wall of modern keys. I don't know what they are. I don't really do moderns that much, but there's a whole big wall of moderns. They also have, their wall books. That has a lot of, again, moderns and variants and stuff like that, but they have some CGC books. They have some Silver and Bronze Age keys. They also have a little bit of Golden Age stuff. Some of the keys that they had on the wall, they had CGC copies of New Mutants 98 with the first Deadpool. They had a CGC Iron Man 55 with the first Thanos. They had a CGC Tomb of Dracula 10 with the first Blade. So they had some key books. They had a lot of wall books. Again, a lot of moderns and stuff like that. Of course, that's not really what I collect. So for me, they didn't really have any romance. They did have some Archie, but nothing that I was looking for. They did have a lot of dollar bins. There was almost a whole run of Team America, which I almost bought, but then I was like, I can't even justify spending $1 each on those, but I'm going to get them, but I don't want to spend that much. So I pulled some stuff out of the dollar bins. I've got a soft spot, as if you've watched my video of my least key issues, I do have a soft spot for 80s, in particular, sort of the indie books, the worse the better. I picked up some stuff here that's kind of weird and offbeat along those lines. I also picked up some stuff that's just legitimately cool. So let me show you my dollar bin finds today. Nothing particularly valuable, I don't think, but I got this graphic novel called Day of Infamy. It's about Pearl Harbor, and so this is a cool book. It's about 45 pages. It's got a big poster in the back. It's the history of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It looks like it's aimed for kids. The creators look like they mostly worked in British comics, so I'm not really familiar with them. This is a cool book. I'll probably be sending this. I'm putting together a care package for my father-in-law's birthday, and he worked at the Pentagon for a long time with the Navy, so it's all like naval themed stuff. So that's cool. I got This is a book that actually used to be worth some money. I have no idea if it's still worth anything, but it was $1, so I decided to pick it up. It's the last issue of the second volume of Thor, aka Thor 587. The Thor disassembled with the end of the Ragnarok storyline. I know there's a time when that was sought after. Again, I have no idea if that's still the case. This is a really cool book. I was really happy to get. It's beat up. It's really beat up, but it's the official Rocketeer adaptation of the movie. The cover's a really cool flag cover with Dave Stevens. The inside art's not by Dave Stevens, but that's okay because it's actually illustrated by Russ Heath. So, I'm a big fan of Russ Heath, and to see him doing a Rocketeer book, I can't wait to dive into this. I haven't seen the movie since it came out, so that's exciting. I also picked up a copy of Scout #1. I've never actually read Scout, but I do like Timothy Truman's stuff. I've heard great things about Scout, so this was cool to get. I'm looking forward to diving into that. A couple other cool books that I got. 2 issues of Twisted Tales, which is the Pacific Comic sort of EC horror book. A lot of stuff by Richard Corbin in here. So I don't like horror that much, but these are cool. I love the big logo and just the retro feel of these books. So I do pick those up when I see them cheap, and I have several issues now that run, even though I don't really like horror books that much. I also picked up Flaming Carrot Comics #31. Mainly I picked it up because of the Herbie Popnecker cover and story. I think I might already have this issue because I have a long run of Flaming Carrot. I'm missing some of the early issues, but I think I have issues 10 to 30 at least. I'm not sure if I have this one though. So I figured $1, it's cool, and if I do already have it, I'll give it away next time I do contest or something. It's just, it's a cool book to have. So here's some of the more obscure things. I got 2 comics that I had when I was a kid. When I first started collecting comics in 84, 85, I would buy stuff out of quarter bins just to try them out. One of them was this. It was Elf Lord #3. I was a big fan of Elf Quest. Turns out I didn't like Elf Lord that much. And Barry Blair, who did this, later went on to actually do some stuff with Elf Quest for the Peonies. But this was it's pure nostalgia because I just remember having this comic and this cover. It's just part of my very, very early collection. And another book along those lines is The Dungeoneers. I used to have issues 1 and 2 when I was a kid. I haven't really seen it since. It's not very good in my memory. I haven't reread it yet because I just picked it up. They actually had a Dungeoneers #5 at this place, and I was like, that series lasted that long? I thought it was only the first 2 issues, but no, somehow, there's a period in the mid-'80s where you could sell just about anything short term until the people caught on that it was crap. So, pure nostalgia buys. And then a couple things I picked up, sort of a nostalgia buy. It's Adventurers #1. This is a second printing. For those who were around at the time, Adventurers was a series where when you look at the ads inside comics, where the comic stores would have ads and they have all these lists of their back issues and what the prices were so you could mail away. Adventurers was one where it was like $50 for the first issue. It was one of these that like exploded and was so expensive and popular, and I never saw any copies of Adventurers. Nowadays, I don't think it's really worth anything, but I wanted to get the first issue, even though it's a second print, just basically for that reason. Similar book, I've never seen this before. It's called Dark Regions, and it's actually published by White Wolf. I need to look into this a little bit more and see if it's the same White Wolf that does all the role-playing games. I suspect it might be. There's a thing on the inside saying this is their first comic book, and it's sort of a Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing, like a lot of these, like Adventurers and like Dungeoneers. So I'd never seen this. I saw the White Wolf logo, and I was like, okay, $1. Again, I'm just a sucker for these things. And then the real pickup. It's Lobster Man #1. It's Maine's first superheroes. Notice that's plural because Lobster Man has a sidekick named Clamdigger. They had issue 2 as well, which is amazing that there was a second issue of this. I only bought the first issue because I figured, one's probably enough. I don't think I need to read both of them, but, being a New Englander, When I saw The Lobster Man, I was like, yeah, gotta pick that up. Finally, I did also buy one actual back issue. Um, it was $8. It's got a tear on the cover. It's low grade, so it's probably not worth that much. But it's worth it to me because it's Unknown Worlds number 50, which has the Lincoln being revived Frankenstein style by this mad scientist. So I really wanted to support all the comic shops that I can during the pandemic. And so that's part of why I'm doing this. Why I'm trying to highlight these stores for people that are in the area, or even call them and see what they have. I want to just spotlight these, but I also want to support them with my money as well as with the publicity. So hopefully I can get back out there and see some more comic book stores soon, support some more shops. This happened to be a target of opportunity. We were driving through the area. But I'm hoping to get out there and do a couple more trips now that things are reopened a little bit, and support some more comic shops. The local comic shops need all the support they can get, and there's a lot of them in my area, so I want to show off these places. All right, and now for the second store on our journey, we're traveling over to Reading, Mass, to visit a store called Comically Speaking. Now, there's a couple different comic stores in that area. There's another one in North Reading. It's not that one we're going to. We're going to the one downtown Reading called Comically Speaking. So let's check that out. Okay, here we are in Reading, Massachusetts. I am walking down Main Street here towards the comic store. I had to park a couple blocks away just because it's on Main Street and parking is a little limited. But here we are. I'm seeing a lot of people without masks on, so that makes me a little nervous to be in this town, but we'll be there in just a second. Okay, here it is, Comically Speaking. Just go up these steps, these ramps into this big building, and let's take a look inside. Okay, so before we get to the haul from Comically Speaking, I had a little bit of an issue with the video. The audio is completely ruined, so I'm just going to say now what I had originally said back in August when I first recorded this, which is, so the interior of the store, unfortunately, I didn't feel comfortable filming in there. Part of it was because of the COVID stuff at the time. As I mentioned, entering the store, there was a lot of people walking around without masks and stuff. I didn't feel really comfortable at that time. But also, I just didn't feel comfortable in the store itself. I'm trying to just keep it real and give you guys the best reviews that I can of the stores. And when I was in the store, one of the people there that was, I think, working, I don't know for sure, but there was someone there that was making some jokes that were sort of race-based, with some derogatory stuff about Puerto Ricans in particular. I could guess that perhaps that they were joking with a coworker, but I don't know. I don't know who that was aimed at, and I felt really uncomfortable. It made for a really uncomfortable environment, just to have that sort of thing flying around while you're just trying to look at comics. It reminded me a lot of what some of the less inviting stores used to be back like in the 80s and stuff. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feel there. Now on the plus side, again, I want to be as fair as I can. Huge store, massive selection. They have a ton of stuff. Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age. They have a lot of stuff. And so whatever you're looking for, there's a chance they're going to have it. They had some Golden Age Archie books, lower numbers that I don't have, not just pre-code, but I'm talking about from the mid-40s. So they had a lot of stuff. I didn't end up buying very much, as we'll see here in the haul, partially because I just didn't feel super comfortable in the store. The other part being, for me, the prices were a little bit high. So that's just me. I do like to have a good deal. To me, there was, even though a lot of cool things, they were just a little bit more than I wanted to pay. I could see myself buying stuff there if they had a specific issue that I needed to fill a run, and that's very possible considering they have a huge inventory. But generally speaking, I mean, I felt like I could do better. So mixed bag. Again, huge store, huge selection, tons and tons of great back issues. But for me, a little overpriced, and I was just not comfortable with the environment in the store. So let's get to what I did buy though. Okay, I'm back, and I want to show the books that I did end up buying. As I just mentioned, I ended up not buying that much. They did have a lot of cool books. They have a lot of cool books. So if there's something specific you're looking for, they may have it. And they had a couple early Archies that I, was certainly had some interest in, like an Archie 29, 37. So again, prices were just a little too high for me, but I did pick up a few things. This one here is actually one that I bought for Metarog. I'm going to send it to him. I don't know if he might already have it because he has a lot of this sort of thing. It's Beetle Bailey 67, but it's the free bold detergent giveaway variant. So I thought he might like that. I know he collects those sort of things. They did have a couple romance books. They had one DC book that I wanted, but it was $40, and it was a book I would have been comfortable at like 18. But this is a cool one. It's Secrets of Young Brides. I don't know what issue number it is. They weren't printing them on the cover at this point. See if I can get this angled in a way where you can actually see it. So the guy's got his head in his hands, and she's crying too, and she's saying, "It's no use, Mike. Our marriage is no good." This is the sort of thing I love about Charlton, is you won't be seeing these covers from DC or Alice. It's also a rare cover where the man is expressing sadness. That rarely happens. Usually the woman's crying, but there's only really a handful of covers where a man has a broken heart. This is one of them. Clearly they're having troubles. The secret of this young bride is that this just not working out. I'm guessing whatever their problem is, it's not actually in the bedroom. Even Charlton wouldn't go there with a code-approved book. Straight out of Skywald, it's Jungle Adventures #2. So this is a really cool book. I'm getting so much glare today. So you can see this is $10. This is one of the books that they had to price while I was waiting, and it's more than I would normally pay for this, but it's in nice shape. These are square bound books, or sort of. They're oversized 25-cent books, and it's pretty nice. It's probably a 6. I'm not actually a big fan of jungle characters, but the Skywald stuff is really interesting. You don't see it that often, so I decided to pick that up. Another book that I paid a lot more than I normally would for because of the grade. It's All New War #1. This is a painted cover by Pat Boyette, and he did a bunch of painted covers for the war books around this time, and I definitely am interested in. This was $15. You can get these for like $1, $2 on eBay, but this is a really nice copy. Yeah, it's really nice. It's an 8 or maybe an 8.5, looks like. I haven't seen the back cover, but so I decided to spring the extra money on it because it is really nice. They did have a couple really cool Charltons there. They had 2 copies of Phantom #76. The last issue with the classic American flag cover, but one of them was $25. The other was $40. Again, it's a little high for me. I have a really high grade copy that I paid $9 for like 2 years ago at a convention. So, but here's the big purchase that I am really happy to get, and it's Classic Illustrated #32, Lorna Doone. This was just $10. It's a lower grade, but a solid looking book. It looks like it's around a 4, maybe a 4.5. And the draw for this is the drawing, because this has the cover and the full interiors of this giant size book all done by the legendary Matt Baker. This is one of his earlier works, so his style isn't nearly as easy to see from the cover. Most Matt Bakers, you recognize it immediately, like, oh, yep, that's Matt Baker. Not in this case, but yeah, cover and full interior artwork by Matt Baker. So for $10, that was a deal. So I was happy with my purchases there. I was hoping to get more and find more, romance stuff that I wanted, but overall the experience just wasn't quite what I was looking for. So anyway, that's it. 2 more comic shops on the map, and still got like 40 to go, 38 to go. In Massachusetts alone, there's another dozen or more, both right across the New Hampshire border, right across the Rhode Island border. I've made the decision during the pandemic here not to cross the state border to go to those stores, but I'm going to keep trying when I can to get to some of these stores and try and support them during these tough times, and also show you guys what to expect at these cool stores. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.